Hello and good evening to everyone today.
Hello, Favor. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Favor. How are you?
Good evening, Favor. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Happy to have you all today.
Thank you so much.
Excited about today's interaction. Mr. Roger, good to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. I haven't heard Yokabi's voice. Yokabi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. How is everything in Kenya?
It's very chilly today. Otherwise, we are okay.
Okay. Good to have you around. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. And Nevermind is there. I can see you setting up. Good to have you around.
Thank you. How are you, Favor?
I'm doing good, thanks. Okay. How is everything in Zim?
Yeah, everything is fine. Today it was our Defense Forces Day. So we're just following the proceedings from the national broadcast. But it was quite exciting.
Mr. Roger, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's begin with today's interaction. To all of you who are watching us online, following us, I appreciate you joining us on this financial literacy forum. We'll get inspired, we'll learn about entrepreneurship, we'll get inspired rather to go for what it is that we need to go if we have those dreams, right? Yeah, so today I want us to begin with a very interesting segment. Okay, so it is said that to be a leader, you have to be a good reader, right? And most people check the influential people in the world. They always talk about how reading is important and how important it is to always read. So what we're going to do is on this forum, we're introducing an exciting segment. And that segment is where we're going to be going through some book summaries starting from today. Okay, so I'm just going to connect us to our book summary for today. I don't know how many of you have watched Rich Dad Poor Dad, but we'll start. Oh, sorry, have read Think and Grow Rich. Okay, that will be our reading for today. Think and Grow Rich. So Think and Grow Rich is a book that I read long back, I guess, maybe 12 years ago, maybe. Yeah, but that book is actually a book that I'm still digesting up to today. Yeah, so let's connect that book and let's pay attention as we connect that book, and then it will be a short summary. Then let's just share some learnings, and from there we can proceed into other discussions. So get right into that and build up from there. Are we ready for that, guys? Who's ready to join me with this?
Very much ready. I am very much ready.
Okay.
We're ready.
Ready. Okay, thanks for that, Dave. Okay, so let's connect to the book summary for Think and Grow Rich.
No matter which track you choose to follow in order to get rich, becoming a trader, a value investor, a real estate pro, a chief executive, or perhaps an entrepreneur, you must have the correct mindset. This is a top 5 takeaways video summary of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Due to the law of averages, some people may be able to acquire riches without following the advice in this video. but hoping that life will give you such a break instead of taking responsibility of your own actions and thoughts is a plan that is flawed at best. Instead, let us now examine how you can optimize your chances of gathering a great fortune. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. Takeaway number 1. It is what you think that matters. Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that, when they are mixed with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for that translation into riches. This is the main idea of Think and Grow Rich. You can even tell it from the title. If you don't see riches in your thoughts, how can you expect to ever see them in your bank account? All achievements and all earned riches start with an idea. Every great leader that has ever existed was a dreamer. How do you think that Mahatma Gandhi or George Washington or Martin Luther King succeeded? It all started with an idea. You have the ability to control your own mind because you can feed it with whatever thought impulses that you choose. It is incredibly powerful. Thought, backed by a strong desire, has a tendency to transmute itself into its physical equivalent. It's a double-edged sword though. If you fail to plant thoughts in your subconscious mind deliberately, it won't remain idle. It will pick up other thoughts which unintentionally reach it. Once again, you don't want to leave this to chance. If you fail to control your own mind, you may be sure that you will control nothing else. Takeaway number 2. A burning desire. A long time ago, a great warrior had to face a much stronger foe. When the warrior's armies arrived in enemy territory, he had them burn all the ships behind them at the beach. They were greatly outnumbered by the enemy, but now they had no choice but to win. So, they won. If you ask 100 people what they want in life, they will probably not be able to answer. If you push them though, they will mention some of their wishes, perhaps money, fame, or security. But the universe doesn't respond to vaguely expressed wishes. It responds to a burning desire, implemented through definite plans and a constant persistence. God seems to throw himself on the side of the man who knows exactly what he wants, if he's determined to get just that. The desire part I can't really help you with, but understand that you must have it in order to succeed. If you want to reach higher than mediocrity, be sure that you can attach a burning desire to a possible outcome of that endeavor of yours. Let's pretend that that desired outcome is, perhaps money. Here's a 6-step method for transforming that desire into its material counterpart. 1. Fix in your mind a specific amount. 2. Determine exactly what you are going to give in return. 3. Establish a definite date. 4. Create a definite plan and start right away to put that into action. 5. Write down the 4 previously mentioned steps into a statement. 6. Read this out loud twice daily, preferably in the morning and right before you go to sleep. The last step is called autosuggestion. Have you ever exaggerated a story or told a lie until you started to believe in it yourself? Well, this is the exact same thing, but it aims at creating faith inside you that your burning desire will one day come true. For more on this, and the importance of having a definite plan, have a look at my summary of The Science of Getting Rich. Takeaway number 3. Become an unstoppable force. Guys, I have a new idea. We must replace our current 4-cylinder motors with 8-cylinder ones, and they must be cast in a single block. We will beat the competition by a landslide. Oh, sorry Mr. Ford, but that can't be done. Produce it anyways. But, sir, it's impossible. Go ahead, and stay on the job until you succeed, no matter how much time it takes. Sir, we've been working day and night, but as we said, it is impossible. No, it isn't. Stay with it. Sorry, Mr. Ford, we haven't found a way to do... Go right ahead. I want it and I'll have it. Oh, what's the use? This man clearly doesn't know when he's whipped. I might as well give him what he wants. We found a way how to do it, sir! No one is ever defeated until he or she has accepted that as a reality. Persistence is everything in any part of life where you wish to thrive. Napoleon Hill states that there may be no heroic connotation to the word persistence, but the quality is to the character of a man what carbon is to steel. When someone has cultivated the habit of persistence, they gain insurance against failure. Remember, there is no such thing as something for nothing. At times, it may seem like other people succeed without first paying the price, but that is probably not true, even if some people would like to advertise it that way. The grass is not greener on the other side. Stick to your plan and win. A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. Takeaway number 4. Sexual energy. No, you didn't get that wrong. According to Napoleon Hill, the 5 strongest stimulants known to man are friendship, music, a burning desire for riches, love, and sex. Desire for sex is the most powerful of all human desires. So strong is this desire that it was said that the Trojan War was started as a result of it. Observe what happens to any animal after it has been castrated, and you'll see what happens when sexual energy is removed from a being. All men who have reached the highest level of achievements have had highly developed sexual natures. The transmutation of sex energy to energy and creativity in other endeavors is a primary source of genius. The energy must be transmuted from desire for physical contact into some other form of desire and action before it will lift one to the status of a genius. Far from becoming genii, because of great sex desires, the majority of men lower themselves through misunderstanding and misuse of this great force to the status of the lower animals. There's a reason why most men don't achieve much before they are 40, and it's not only due to the fact that they become wiser and more self-confident by then. Because of the temptations in today's society, this is probably even more difficult to exercise today than it was when Napoleon Hill first wrote Think and Grow Rich. It requires a lot of willpower, the forming of new habits, and the elimination of old behaviors. Takeaway number 5. The 6 ghosts of fear. Before you can put Napoleon Hill's philosophy into use, you must conquer your fears. Here are 6 of the most common and most destructive ones. And remember, they only exist in your mind, and you have the ability to control them if you so desire, and if you practice enough. 1. The fear of poverty. A common symptom of this fear is the indifference towards money, expressed through a lack of ambition. Your mind can't focus on how to become rich if it constantly must worry about how to put food on your table. You must reach an absolute decision that whatever you can acquire, as long as you give it your all, is sufficient. 2. The fear of criticism. This is characterized by nervousness in the presence of others, and it destroys initiative. To beat it, you must stop worrying about what other people do, think, or say. Dare to be a little bit cringy sometimes. 3. The fear of ill health. A common symptom is the habit of faking illness to serve as an alibi for laziness. To make this stop, you must forget about symptoms and especially stop looking for them. Any symptom can be deadly if you Google it. 4. the fear of loss of love of someone. Jealousy is a common sign of this. Reach a decision that you will get along without love, if necessary. And if you're currently single, use this time to create a life where you learn to appreciate living by yourself. Then everything beyond that is just a bonus. 5. The fear of old age. Speaking apologetically about one's age is characteristic for the fear of old age. Eliminate this fear by accepting aging, not as a handicap, but as a blessing, for you have the possibility of being much wiser and having a better self-control than during your youth. And hopefully, the wonders of compound interest have been working in your favor for a while. 6. The fear of death. A common symptom is the habit of thinking about dying instead of living your life to the fullest. The reason why you must conquer this should be obvious. I can't imagine that anyone who's spending his days worrying about the fires of hell or having to spend an eternity wearing a nightgown can ever be happy. The endless nap is inescapable. Learn to accept it.
Going on, I didn't know that that was the end.
Yeah, that was the end. It was doing the recap.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yes.
No, it was wonderful. From my end, the correct mindset and control of the mind. Control of the mind. Those are my takeaways.
Okay, that's good. Happy to hear that from you. How about others? Yokabi, how was it? You've read Think and Grow Rich before?
Yeah, that question was for Roger, right?
No, for you.
Yes.
You've read it before.
Yeah,
Did you get any new clicks from the summary?
but there's some, yeah.
Did you get any new clicks from the summary?
New, not really, but as Roger was saying, mindset. For you have to see it. You have to see it for you to make it happen.
Yeah.
That is consistent everywhere. So as much as we are creating goals, if we are not dreaming, if we are not clear on our goals, we can't achieve goals that aren't clear. So yeah, we should have clear goals.
Yeah. I think for me, that's actually the hardest for me. I personally, okay. The hardest for me is actually defining, like being very clear on what you want. I'm saying it's the hardest because, knowing what you want is one thing, but being crystal clear is another. And I think I discovered this after hanging around people who are crystal clear. Yeah, after hanging around people who are crystal clear, I figured out to say, well, yeah, I'm miles away. It's not as easy as it sounds, if I can put it that way. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for that, Nukapi. Never mind, you're smiling. Is there anything you have in your mind?
Thank you very much. I think to me, this book is quite insightful. And if we can take some notes from what is being recommended here by Napoleon Hill, we'll go somewhere. The first statement, I think it was quite powerful to say you must have a correct mindset. This was really, it's quite interesting to me that in everything, just the summary of the book, Think and Grow Rich, it's all about the correct mindset, having the correct mindset. And the first statement, it was said, it is what you think that matters. So if you have a burning desire for something, it's all within your control. And it's all up to you to say, I want to win. I want to do this. I can say 90% of the time, most of the things are within our control. So if you can tame your mind and have the correct mindset, you can achieve anything that you want.
Okay.
Thank you.
Interesting perspective there. Thanks for that. Never mind. That's what Nevermind believes. If you want to disagree with him, you can go to Zimbabwe and argue with him. So, Mr. Roger, I think unless there's anyone else who would like to share anything from the book summary, is there anyone? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone. So, Mr. Roger, you can come in to... Elizabeth, is that a hand you're clapping? Can you hear me, Elizabeth?
Hi, Favor. Sorry about that. That was supposed to be a hand, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought
Yes.
you are clapping for Roger.
It was actually supposed to be a hand. Okay. The key takeaway from which I got from the book is that persistence actually creates immunity to failure. And having a thought, say, I want to win this, I want to achieve this target is not enough, but you need to have that burning desire. And then that burning desire needs to be translated to action in order for you to achieve those goals. Thank
Very
you.
well put. Thanks for that. Persistence is the immunity to failure. I like that. You know, persistence basically is about paying the price. Huh? The tricky question is how far are we willing to go? How far are we willing to keep trying and try and try and try and try and try and try and try? It's not easy, but thanks for reminding us of that, Elizabeth, and pointing it out. So now I'll be handing the forum to Roger to take us through a very interesting discussion. And that discussion is a discussion that I personally, up to today, I'm still learning because society has messed up this topic for us. Mr. Roger, what's the conversation about?
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Favor. Actually, today we are looking at assets versus liability. Assets versus liabilities. That's a topic of discussion for today. I'm expecting all of us to participate so that at the end of the day, we discuss it and be able to learn 2 or 3 things from each other. Okay. So we are going to start with the definition of an asset. An asset from an accounting point of view, Mr. David is laughing at me.
Yes.
It is an asset is a resource that someone has got control as a result of past event where economical future benefits should be arrived at or flow into the organization. Okay, that is an asset. Then a liability from the same accounting point of view, it is a present obligation as a result of past event from which money or financial, economic or financial benefits will flow out of an entity. But in simple terms, an asset is what you own. From a general term, an asset is what you own. A liability is what you owe. Okay? I don't know whether it's making sense. So an asset, these are things of value that you control and can generate income or benefit. Okay, that is from a general definition. Then a liability, these are obligations. Liability is an obligation or debt you must repay in future. So I have given both from a standard point of view. Finance is more of standards, as well as a basic definition. I don't know whether there is anyone who has some additions there or subtractions before we move to the next point.
Mr. Roger.
Yes.
Why is the ownership part very important when it comes to an asset? In the definition, that is.
You know, ownership gives you control. You cannot control something that you do not have. I remember the other day I was chatting with my friend who was very upset with what someone had done, and he was saying, why did he do it this way? He was supposed to do it that way. Then I said, it's you who thinks that way because you own your mind. You cannot have control over what. So ownership is very important. You don't have control over what you don't own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You know, I was actually thinking you would say that you're thinking that way because you don't own the thing that you're complaining about. But then you
Yes.
twisted, you talked about the mind, and you don't own you own the mind.
You own your mind. Here it says control your mind. That's what we learned from the book.
Okay. I don't know. I would like to hear from others as well. If there's anything that they can think of that they can benefit from, but they don't own. I don't know if there's such a possibility.
Okay, let me just come in. I wanted to explain the definition that was given by Roger. Roger was saying it's a present economic resource controlled by the entity as a result of a past event. That is from an accountant's point of view. But I want to further define what is control, because control it refers to when you have power to obtain future economic benefits from something. So you control something when you can have power to have future benefits from it. If you are not able to control that thing, you can't claim that it's your asset. But if you have power to obtain future benefits from that thing, it may be a physical thing or something which is not physical. But if you can obtain, if you have power to obtain future benefits, then you control it. You can claim that it's your asset.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I hope people who are watching are understanding the high grade English that that people are speaking here. So but thanks for that. Never mind. You put something into perspective. So how about if I own something but I can't control it? Then no point, right?
Yeah, if you own something but you can't control it, you
Like
can't claim that it's
we
an
own
asset.
our African countries, but we don't control it.
Yes, but you can't say I have an asset. I have Zimbabwe as my asset because you don't control it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
So,
it's
Mr.
quite
Roger,
interesting.
see now, ownership and control are contradicting again. Can you control everything you own? Or you own everything you control? Which one is it?
I think it's something very straightforward. Maybe you're just contradicting yourself.
Maybe yes. Maybe I
Yeah,
am.
because like both of us have explained. First of all, what is important is the ownership. Okay? And
Yes.
this ownership come as a result of an event. Okay? For example, you go and buy something. Then ownership is transferred to you. Okay? Then
Yes.
once you have that in your possession, you can do anything. For example, if I own a house, I can demolish some rooms and do whatever I want to do because it is mine.
Yes.
But for a rented house, even whatever I want to do, I have to go and seek for permission, and it is up to the owner to say yes, you can do whatever you want or not. Okay. Now,
Yes.
because of time, we may not exhaust all that needs to be exhausted, because there is also what we call, from financial point of view, what we call influence. So there is control, influence, and investment. So where you are going, your question can be answered very well if we are talking about investment. You want something, but you don't have control, because the percentage of rights towards that is lower to grant you that power to control. But for today,
Okay, can I come in?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yes, Mr. Rivers.
yes, Mr. Bell.
Okay. Okay, the differences between ownership and control. I think ownership, it signifies the legal right to possess something. You own a building, you own a car because you have the rights to that car. You have a legal right to that car. But when it comes to control, control now is the ability to manage and make decisions about that property. For example, a lease can be an asset, because you don't necessarily need to own a house to say it's an asset. But if you have the right to sublet it, if you have the right to lease it to other people and generate money from that, it becomes your asset. So in in finance or in accounting, a lease can be an asset, but you don't necessarily own that asset or a property. But you can, if you are only able to control it through managing the inflows and also that property, you can say, I control it, it's my asset, yet you are not the owner of that asset. So there's a difference between ownership and control.
Yeah, Mr. Roger. You can drive us forward. Otherwise, this ownership and control is a very interesting conversation.
Yeah. That's why I said we need just a separate time to discuss that in depth. Okay. So now, in simple terms, what an asset is just something that puts money in your pocket. That is an asset. That is something that is able to generate income and bring that income into your pocket, money in your pocket. Then a liability is something that takes money away from your pocket. That's why last time we had a very hot debate when someone posted so we were asking, is this person really an asset? Or you are misusing terms? But now, from this point, I think that person wins, because if someone is able to put money in your pocket, that person is an asset, even if you don't have control. Let's put control aside. Okay, so now there are examples of asset, examples of liability. I'm trying to rush because of time. Assets, we have cash, bank balance, that's an asset, property, land, vehicle, if they earn income. Vehicles, if they do what? Earn income. Then there is investment, for example, shares and bonds. There is inventory. Okay. Then the side of liability, we have loans, we have credit cards, we have unpaid bills, we have salary payables for those who are working. The company needs to pay you. So that becomes a liability to them. Okay, then tax owned. Then there are those who acquire property on mortgage, the payment of mortgage, all that is a liability. Okay, we have just put a few examples of what liabilities are and what assets are. There are a lot, we cannot exhaust the list because time is not enough to exhaust the list. Okay. So these are examples, but now we have types of assets and the types of liabilities. On the types of asset, there are current assets and the current what? And non-current assets. We do have current asset and non-current what? Asset. So current asset, these are assets which can easily be converted from what they are into cash. Okay? That is a current asset. Something that can easily be turned into money, into cash, into currency.
Yes,
Then,
correct.
yes. Then an non-current asset, these are is something that you cannot easily turn into cash. For example, building, machinery, land. For you to sell a house, you put it house for sale. Sometimes it may even take the whole year. It's not something that you can easily turn into cash. Those are non-current assets. Okay, these are basic definitions. We don't want to go into so much details because of time. Then we also have liabilities. We have current liabilities. These are liabilities which are payable within 1 year. Current liabilities are liabilities which are payable within 1 year. Then non-current liabilities, these are liabilities which are payable over a number of years. It can be payable in 5 years. It can be payable in 2 years, just like that. Okay. I don't know if there are any questions there. I can pause so that we have questions or contributions.
Did we list the house as an asset or a liability?
An asset, a house. Yes, it is an asset.
A house.
Never mind. I don't know. Before never mind comes in, I'm seeing. I don't know if Sharon is trying to talk. I saw your mic got unmuted. Maybe she's having network challenges. Okay. While she's sorting it out, let's hear from Nevermind. Roger, Nevermind put the hand up, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay, thank you very much. I think a house, it's
Switch
tricky to say.
switch on your video, never mind, so that we see you. Some of us are able to get everything when we look at somebody's lips.
Okay, thanks, Roger.
Wonderful.
I think it's tricky to say a house is an asset. It all depends whether that house is bringing in any cash inflows. Remember, from that definition you gave of an asset, we said it becomes an asset when there is some economic benefits flowing to the business. But then to say a house is an asset, it must qualify into that definition. So if it's not giving you any income and you are paying rents, you are paying mortgage loan over that house, it ceases to be an asset. It only becomes an asset when you are getting some inflows, positive cash flows flowing to the business. I think that's when you can say it's a house. My house is an asset. That's my thinking. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Nevermind. Before you go, from a basic definition of what an asset is, they are saying things of value that you can control and can use to generate income or benefit. So I don't know, there is benefit there. not only income, that is a basic definition. They are also saying generate income or benefits.
Okay.
So meaning housing.
Okay. I think let's put it this way.
Okay.
You have your a house of your primary residence where you
Yes.
stay,
Yes.
and according to economists economist favor,
Yes.
there's an opportunity cost.
Okay.
If you let's assume that you don't want to own a property, you can rent somewhere and live there. But you then decided to say, I will stay in my house, my property. So the opportunity cost of not paying rent somewhere,
It's a
it's your
benefit.
benefit by staying in that house. It becomes an asset. But if you have two houses, the other one is just a house in your name, and you are paying rents every month towards that house to your municipalities, your town councils. You are paying rents every month. It ceases to be an asset because number one, it's depreciating. It is losing value. Secondly, you are incurring a cost every month. So the liabilities that you are incurring, they outweigh the value of the asset. So it becomes a liability rather than an asset because there is no benefit that you are getting from your property or your house. That's my line of thinking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Nevermind. You know why I'm laughing? On the definition of, on the examples of a vehicle being an asset, there is the inverted commas, if they earn income. So now, Mr. Favor, you have a company, and you have delivery vans that you use to deliver stock and everything. And those people and those vans, they are part and parcel of your asset register. But in actual sense, it's very different from buses which directly make you earn an income. So can you qualify that as an asset, a delivery van?
Sorry, so just clarify, you've got a delivery van that you own
Yes.
versus what?
We are trying to contrast, because we are saying a house is not a what? Is not an asset if it's not
Up for
generating
debate.
income. So
Yes.
yeah, so debate. Now there is this another scenario where you run a grocery, right?
Yes.
So meaning your income come as a result of the transactions that you record on daily basis in that grocery.
In that grocery, yes.
Yes, but then you have a vehicle, a van, which helps you to go and do your orders, bring your orders there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it does not directly bring income. Can
Yes, it
that
doesn't.
qualify to an asset?
So if it is directly attached to the entity that you are running, which
Yes.
is the grocery store, then it is an asset. If
Okay, Mr. Nevermind. I think Favor his network is up and down.
Yes, I think I agree with you. It's an asset because what you have only done is that you become a good strategist. You said I don't want to share with the other people my the value chain within you don't want to share with other people or the other distributors. You are saying, I'm going to enjoy the benefits of having this in my distribution channel. So it becomes part of your cost savings. You become a good strategist and say, I will not hire other people's vehicles. I will use mine to deliver my things so that I lower the cost, my cost of production
that's if you
or
can
my
afford
cost
it.
of sales. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let me, I want to hear from Nyokabi. We have Nyokabi there, we have Sharon. What is your take, guys? Please, we want to hear from you also.
Never mind has spoken my mind. I was looking at how he's saving transport. So to me, it's an asset because he won't incur the, like maybe it's daily transport or weekly he has to pay. Now he doesn't have to. Okay, he'll fuel, but I'm sure it's less.
Switch on your video.
Next time.
I can't hear
Next time. Next time.
you. Okay. Some of us we are good at mouth lips leading. I don't know whether it's called lips leading for us to get the whole thing. Okay, anyway, it's a very debatable issue here. So we have to just make sure that we try to consult from the standards. And then from there, we qualify a house you are living in to be either a liability or...
Mr. Nevermind. Mr. Roger.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Am I audible?
You are audible, yes.
I was saying
yes.
I was saying that a thought that I wanted to bring to the table is that the numbers talk as well. The numbers should talk because ultimately, if you have a van attached to your shop, but your shop is not generating enough income to even maintain that van, then it's a liability. You might as well let another person incur those costs. But so it's the same thing with the house. It's the numbers have to talk. If over a long period of time, the house that you own, you're going to spend money on it, and it's going to depreciate in value because of the site of the location, maybe of the house. It's not in a location that is advancing. Different things. If you do the calculations and over time, it is losing more value than it's gaining, then it's not an asset. Or if it can't even put any money in your pocket. So I think the numbers also have to talk.
Okay, thank you so very much. There is a point here which says the difference between assets and liabilities is called equity or net worth. Okay, so the difference between assets and liability is called equity or net worth. And there is a formula which says assets minus liabilities equals to equity or net worth. So my understanding is you cannot separate the two. In the previous lesson that we had, we were talking about if you do not have assets, don't go and borrow. Because the proper way of doing it, you should have asset which should finance or which should give you income to go and pay the debts.
Yeah.
So that puts me back to the point which you are saying you can have a van, which at the end of the day, the cost that van is incurring compared to the benefit towards your business is nothing to compare because the business is not able to generate income to cover for all those costs that are being incurred because of the van. So at some point you discover that assets now becomes, I mean, the net worth turns into negative, meaning your asset, instead of helping you, it is actually now becoming a liability, taking away what? Money from you. In most cases, that's why you see these big companies, they have what they call stock or asset evaluation plan, where if the cost of servicing a vehicle is to some extent more than the cost of acquiring a new vehicle, they would rather dispose that old vehicle and get a new vehicle, because now it has moved from being an asset into becoming a liability. It is taking more of money from the pocket than it is bringing. Because whatever asset you have, definitely there are some costs to maintain that cost. And at the end of the day, it's net that flows into the entity. Okay.
Mr. Roger, just a quick fun fact.
Okay, sir.
Rich people don't keep houses for more than 2 years or even 3. Once it just increases in value to the optimal level, they sell it and buy a new one. That's what they do. So they're very clever. I'm just building up on these points that you have brought.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
We can
Yo,
hear you,
finally.
Sharon. Yes, finally.
Finally. I've been trying to speak the whole time.
Yes, Madam Sharon.
But sorry, I can't put on the camera. I can't. Not
Oh, it's
today.
fine. It's fine.
Uh, yeah, I think Roger and Favor, you are coming from two different. I don't know if Roger is an accountant. Favor is an entrepreneur. So if you look at an accountant, an asset is anything like a house, your car, and whatever it is. But on the entrepreneur side, a house can be a liability, a car can be a liability because you take your money, buy an expensive vehicle. That vehicle, you can't compare a Corolla maybe to a Fortuner when it comes to paying insurance, when it comes to just maintaining the vehicle generally. Even when you go to the car wash, they'll tell you, Madam, this type of a car we wash for so much. So it's like you have all these bills because of the type of vehicle that you're driving. So if you're an entrepreneur, that is not an asset. You will never derive any future benefit concerning that item. Then the house that you are living in is a liability. It is not generating anything for you, but you have to maintain it. You call the electrician from time to time to fix this and that for you. But in your books, when that auditor comes and they find that you have not included that house in your books, and then you say, okay, because I'm not seeing how I would derive benefits from it, then they'll tell you you are contravening the rules for finance. So I think you need to separate the two.
Mm.
That's why you need assets that will bring money in your pocket, not assets that are taking money out of your pocket.
That's an
Yeah,
interesting perspective there.
that's what I wanted to say. The other things I've forgotten because I wanted to say them at the time when
When the debate was still hot.
yes.
Yeah, anyway, thank you so very much. Otherwise, at some point, I think both the accountant and the entrepreneur, I think they arrived at one point because I heard Favor mentioning of how rich people behave. They don't keep houses, I mean, for so long. Once it gains value, they sell so that they have the net effect, which is inflow, not outflow. Okay. Because of time, I just want to quickly clear these points. So number one point was the key lessons. The difference between asset and liability is called net worth. And the formula is asset minus liability equals to equity or net worth. The number two, not all nice things are assets. Not all nice things are assets. This now goes to the point which Madam Elizabeth has raised. A fancy car for personal use is an asset on paper, but may not drain. But it may drain money, insurance, fuel, maintenance, and not generate income. Okay. Number three, cash flow is king. So what is important is what? Cash flow. Assets that produce income, rent property, are more valuable than assets that just sit there. Okay? Number four, good versus bad liabilities. Some liabilities like business loan that increase revenue can be strategic, and while consumer debt for luxury usually harm your finance. Usually harm your finance. Number five, balance is power. Strong finances aim for more productive asset than liabilities. Okay. So there is a simple life analog. Simple life analog, just to try and sum up whatever we have been discussing here. They are saying, think of your finance like a bucket of water. Think of your finances like a bucket of water. Asset equals water flowing in. Liability equals hose leaking water out of your what? Your bucket. Your goal is to have more water coming in than leaking out. Preferably plug some hose over time. Thank you so very much. I think this is what we had today, unless otherwise.
It's good. It's good, Mr. Roger. Thanks for walking us through there. Yeah, so thanks for that, Roger. And what we'll do now is we'll quickly switch segments. We're just going to go into an inspirational aspect of things just for the next coming few minutes, and then we can be able to conclude because we like to end on a high note. So we've talked, we've shared knowledge, and I feel this discussion somehow we should continue. But anyway, we'll look into it as we discuss it. So what we'll do is we'll just get into the inspirational aspect of things. To get into the inspirational aspect, what we do is we look at success stories. So we look at success stories. We've looked at Nike, like the company Nike, those who like sportwear, like shoes, clothing. How did that company come into being? So today we'll be looking at a company known as AirBnB. So if you travel or if you like to learn about travel, this is a company that you've probably come across or know about. If you don't know about it, you learn about it today. But Airbnb, if you know about Uber, it's more like Uber, but in the accommodation industry. But how did this come about? Very interesting. It's one of actually my favorite stories. Okay, I just love company stories, startup stories. I love them a lot. So let's get into this one and let's learn about how these guys came up with this concept and the challenges they faced, how they overcame those challenges, and how they managed to make things happen. It's really always a breath of fresh air when you get to see how these companies brought their stories to life. So let's get into it.
We all know the joke. Once we were told to stay away from strangers, to never give out personal information on the internet, and never ever go inside someone's house you don't know. Now, we all connect with people we've never met online, get their address, and sleep in their homes, all thanks to the way Airbnb changed how we think about travel. Airbnb is one of the biggest unicorn businesses of the modern age, creating a sharing economy centered around renting out rooms of your home to strangers. In this video, let's explore how it all happened. How did Airbnb, a $38 billion company with more rooms than all of the largest hotel chains combined, become the giant that it is today? Even more remarkable, how did Airbnb use the timing of the 2008 global recession to create a new opportunity for people around the world to make money? When Joe Gebbia and Brian Chesky were living in San Francisco, they both wanted to do something that would change the world. Having quit their jobs, Joe and Brian committed to working on their next big thing. But two things happened almost simultaneously that pushed them in a new direction they hadn't anticipated. First, they were notified that their rent was increased by 25%, due next month. For two unemployed design students, this was a looming deadline that would almost certainly make them homeless. Secondly, they were made aware of a conference coming to San Francisco for designers, but in big letters across the bottom of the flyer, it stated that all hotels were sold out. Disappointed that people who wanted to attend the conference couldn't come, as well as desperate for a way to make a few bucks, Joe suggested that they offer their own place to anybody who wanted to stay on the airbeds they had in the closet. Not long afterward, they launched their own website, airbedandbreakfast.com, and for $80, they offered designers a place to stay for the weekend's event. They included travel guides to the city they loved so much and made the guests from around the world feel like locals. After the guests that booked with them left, Joe and Brian remarked that they had such a great time hosting that they wanted to create a way to offer that experience to more people. Bringing on a specialist in coding and technology, Joe and Brian decided to target the next big conference, South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. They reasoned that it worked so well with the conference in San Francisco, surely it would have the same result at the next big event. But it did not. Only 6 people created listings on their site and only 2 bookings were registered, one of them being Chesky himself. Undeterred by their first failure, they looked to expand the concept. Maybe this wasn't a conference and festival business like they'd first imagined it to be. Maybe this was a travel business. Looking to capitalize on that new direction and finding a wave of national interest to ride, they settled on the DNC speech coming up in Denver by Barack Obama. The year was 2008, and the candidate was making big ripples in the political scene. The city expected to receive 100,000 visitors to see Obama, but it only had 30,000 rooms. There was an immediate housing crisis, and AirBedandBreakfast.com decided that they could come to the rescue. And so, financed by just their credit cards, Joe and Brian launched their site again, but this time received national and international attention for their site. In just 4 weeks, they went from 0 listings to over 800 listings, but after the speech, the site's traffic dropped again. Using this wave of media interest, they started to meet with investors. But of the 20 investors they approached, 10 sent replies, just 5 agreed to meet with them, and not a single one invested in their company. It seemed as if the walls were closing in. Discouraged by the tens of thousands of dollars of crippling debt, Brian and Joe brainstormed ways to self-finance this business they were certain would take off, building off the idea that had already focused cereal boxes. They called their cereal Obama O's, The Taste of Change, and Captain McCain, a maverick in every bite. They took the idea to an illustrator who printed 1,000 boxes in all, 500 for each political candidate. They then bought regular cereal from their local supermarket, put it into their new boxes, and created a website to start selling their new invention. But because they only had 1,000 boxes, they decided to number them, marketing them as limited edition collector's items. By doing that, they were able to sell each box at a ridiculous price of $40 a pop. Shockingly, it worked. They ended up selling over 800 boxes and generating over $30,000 in profits. In addition to clearing a bunch of their debts, the branded cereal boxes also caught the eye of Y Combinator's co-founder, Paul Graham. The startup accelerator is famous in the Valley for financing big names, but Joe and Brian's home-sharing business was, at first, repulsive to Graham. In their first interview, Graham even remarked, "You mean people actually use this? That's weird." But it wasn't the business idea that sold Graham. Rather, Graham agreed to take them on because of their self-starting attitude and their hustle and grit in selling simple cereal door to other investors, soon raising over $600,000 in the first round of funding. It was enough to hire a team and begin operations as a proper business, this time as the newly named AirBnB. One of the reasons that the idea of Airbnb gathered momentum was that people were hurting from the recent global financial crisis. Just like Joe and Brian in the beginning of their venture, people were desperate for ways to make extra income when the job market was crashing just as quickly as the stock and housing market. Incredibly, Airbnb's fortuitous timing helped change the perception of housing from a liability to a means of making extra money. When people saw that the model worked, they flooded on to this new platform. By taking a cut of every transaction, the business model depended on more listings to succeed. But there was a problem. Most hosts didn't know how to market their own homes, and as a result, Airbnb was making just $200 a week in revenue. So they offered a free photographer service to every single host on their site to improve the images shown on their listings. By working with the hosts directly, Joe and Brian learned how to redesign the site and improve the inefficiencies of the business. In 2010, Brian would go on to live exclusively in Airbnbs for many months, while employees crowded him out of his own home. To this day, he still recalls that time as pivotal for understanding the experience of hosts using the site. And when international listings started to increase, investors sat up and noticed Airbnb. This time, instead of the founders calling the investors, venture capital firms were knocking at their door. Later that year, they raised a further $7.1 million from VC firms. The next year, celebrity investor Ashton Kutcher invested a significant amount of money into the rising San Francisco startup and secured a spot on the board as a strategic advisor. It was around this time that Fiji Island was listed, a private 5-acre island with water sports and private chef in the South Polynesian Sea. At this point, Joe was personally reviewing every single listing, and when he saw that come in, he knew Airbnb would be huge. By early 2011, Airbnb had hit the 1 million listing mark and had homes in 89 countries, including a boat, a treehouse, an 11th century manor in the English countryside, and a deluxe villa on the beaches of Bali. 5 months later, the number of users had hit 2 million, and by the end of the year, they had 5 million users registered on their site. By June of 2012, that number had increased again to 10 million. They've grown now to boast 150 million users from over 100,000 cities. On any given night, 2 million people are staying in an Airbnb, and with an estimated valuation of $38 billion, rumors about going public in 2020 are starting to spread. So the next time you're planning a stay somewhere around the world, remember that it's more likely that
Yeah, so that was our success story for the evening. So just so that we can conclude with some energy on the high, we can feel free to just share some of the points of views that we got from there and how we plan to gear up in whatever that we're going to be doing in the next coming weeks. So any views, any thoughts, never mind anything to share.
Okay, thank you very much. I got some few points, though my network was acting up, but the first one was that even after their rent was increased by 25%, they didn't give up because they were very sure of the thing they wanted to achieve. The other thing also was that even there were many rejections after they sought for some investors. 10 responded, only 5 agreed to meet them, but none of them invested in their business, but they never give up. They continued looking for more opportunities, and finally they achieved what they wanted. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Nevermind. The persistence comes back to the discussion. Yeah. Okay. So I think for me, there are real problem solvers.
I think today the network is really not on Favor's side. I have seen it breaking now and again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, I was asking if Elizabeth also managed to get something, or if she'd like to share anything.
Okay, thank you, Favor. What I managed to grasp from the video was that they were a self-starting business. That's why they managed to overcome most of the challenges which they were faced with. And the other thing, what Mr. Nevermind just mentioned concerning the investments, that they were not discouraged by the people who did not invest in their business initially, but they persisted. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Elizabeth. So unless there's anyone else who'd like to share, can we take one more person? Okay, that's fine.
Nyokabi would like to say something. Nyokabi.
I don't think I can add to that. I've already said.
Okay. So I want to appreciate everybody for joining us today.
Yeah, today we have a problem with network in Zambia.
From the book. Sorry, I'm fired now. Correct?
You were breaking, so can you repeat what you said?
Yeah. I was appreciating people for joining the interaction. Mr. Roger, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Just help me just wish people a goodbye and to see them. We'll see them next time.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much. I understand, Mr. Favor, today the network is really jumpy. So thank you so very much for all of us who have managed to spare our precious time and spend the precious time with the team. And we just wish all of us all the best, even as we meet next time in the next coming 2 weeks. We are still going to have the same program. It is running every after 2 weeks. Bye from me. Have a blessed evening. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.